Welcome back once again. You have reached PayDirt. I'm your host, Brandon Harry, aka PayDirt, with your host, Pay Saunders. What's good, Pay?
Man, it's the second best football weekend of the year. And after we got out of that New Year, New Me phase, we deserve this. We deserve this. And I can't wait. It's time. This is where the money is really made, B. I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
And listen, man, it is no worries after week 18 hangover. You don't know who's going to get set, who's going to be playing, who's not going to be playing. They're all playing this week. The marbles on the table. You don't have to worry about NIL and transfer portal people sitting out. They're playing. So I like that. I like that for the games and for us, quite honestly. Last week, I tried a little homage here to my hammer the over DraftKings flag, and I went all overs. Unfortunately, I had Colston Loveland. We had talked about Colston Loveland. We talked about it on Homies. I was looking for that Colston Loveland over. It was off the window at the time that I did do the bets here on the overs. And I ended up putting the Bengals and the Browns over, and they did not do that. Did not come through. Went below 500. Dropped us down to 55% wins for the year. 42-34. Still a chance, an opportunity here to get over that 58% mark, which we want to be. We're definitely paying our juice on our bets right now, but we need to get just a little bit over that hump. So we need a couple good weeks, Pay. We need a couple good weeks. Colston Loveland had 9 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Hit all three things, I bet. Had his yardage at halftime.
So what you're saying is DK screwed you.
It's something we need to talk about, man. Next year, do we do some sort of message thread that we add on when we see things later in the week, some sort of shorts right before we go live? Like, I think there's an opportunity there for us to help out some of the people that listen to us week in and week out. You know what I mean? Those subscribers and whatnot.
A Discord, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Stay tuned.
So something we need to meddle over in the off season. So we're doing a lot better than my NFL team, Cincinnati Bengals. They got a whole lot of stuff going on in the off season. My college team, speaking of meddling, got some things changing here in the off season. So a lot going on with those teams. All we got to do is think about how we give those little tidbits we get later in the week, because we both kind of get plugged into some professional gambling communities, and we hear some things out there, and I'd like to be able to share some of that stuff.
I'm in a lot of shady group chats. You're right, B. A lot of degenerates.
Shady. Man.
A lot of back alley exchanging of goods and services for bread. Yeah, you're right. We do talk to a lot of those type of people.
We do. But hey, I digress. So where do you want to start off? I think we stay on the college track. Do you want to talk about we're down to the Final Four?
We are. We're down, as you already pointed out, we're down to the Final Four. Everybody's playing for something right now, and it's a lot. Not just for pride. You're playing, if the kids are playing to increase their draft stock, and obviously win titles. But these 4 coaches, and one in particular, they're playing for big bonuses. And the one in particular I mentioned out, Ole Miss, the guy that's the last guy standing coaching that team. He might be a sexy head coach pick very soon if he can do the unthinkable.
And I think he would also get Lane Kiffin a bonus too if he was able to pull off this win.
Lane Kiffin is the biggest Ole Miss fan right now, even though he's also their biggest hater.
It's a weird conundrum he's found himself in. So we
He's a
start
weird
off.
guy.
We start off tomorrow at the Fiesta Bowl. 7:30 start time. Tomorrow will be Thursday for those of you checking us out on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. We are recording this on Wednesday live on YouTube. But listen at your leisure. We got the Miami Hurricanes versus the Ole Miss Rebels. Hurricanes favored by 3.5 after being big dogs by 9.5 over Ohio State last time they played. Over under here 52.5. A little bit of juice on that money line on Ole Miss at plus 150 if you think that's the way to go. But Pay, I'm gonna throw it over to you, man. What do you think about this game? How you see it going?
So the first thing that jumps off to me is the total. You have it at 52.5 right now on our board with DraftKings. The total has dropped significantly to 48.5, which is right about that line where I say, "Ooh, I'm gonna push away from the table."
I'm literally looking at on DraftKings mobile right now.
Yeah, I don't know why it depends on where your location is. I've
noticed Oregon. You're in Oregon, Indiana. I said Miami at Ole Miss.
Oh, you know what? That's my bad. That's my B. Fiesta Bowl. I went to the P.
Yes, the first one.
I keep doing it. Get that off of here.
All right. The first game is Miami at Ole Miss. Over under is 52.
There we go. 52.5. So for me, you hit me up to this a couple of weeks back. Miami's defensive line, they have shown up a lot during this postseason run for them. And Ole Miss, no one expected them to be here, at least me. I didn't expect them to be here. Lane Kiffin jettisoned. He took all of his assistants with him except for one. But here they are in the semifinal. Ole Miss, obviously being the underdog for obvious reasons. I don't know. I kind of like the mojo going on with Ole Miss. If their defense can actually, make enough tackles, then I think they are they got a good enough shot to go ahead and upset Miami B.
They're really good at running back with Lacey and Chambliss. Played great quarterback. Been a great story coming from Ferris State, winning a Division II title last year. I think it's the Cinderella story everybody's probably going to be rooting for. But there was a couple of things that stood out to me in the last game. And I have kind of not been the biggest fan of Georgia all year. We went back and forth on that. I called their upset. I've hit on a few of they're not going to cover that lines. I didn't think they were as good as they have been in the past. Still a very good team. Ole Miss tackling wise that you spoke of, they had 15 missed tackles in that Georgia game. And Georgia was running the ball at over 7 yards a clip for most of the game. And I don't understand why they went to so much passing, trick plays, different things. Like, to me, feed the bell cow. If it's working, take it. You know what I mean? And that can kind of also break the spirit of a football team a lot of times when you run the ball effectively against them like that. Miami, if you give Miami the ability to run the ball like that, they're going to be perfectly content running the ball down your throat constantly the whole game. They're just going to turn around and hand it off if you're going to give them 7-8 yards to carry constantly the whole game. The other thing here is I watched the Ole Miss game. There were some blunders. There were some blunders coaching wise. The way the end of that first half, not knowing the situation, Chambliss trying to down the ball on 4th down to get ready for a field goal, running out of time, not getting out of bounds. Just some blunders. First time head coach, right? Interim head coach. I think they announced him as regular coach, but I feel like that's a little bit of an edge there for the Hurricanes too, as far as coaching. Those two things, man. I like the Hurricanes here. That hook scares me at -3.5, but I do like the Hurricanes money line. Build my parlay on.
I like Ole Miss. Their offense has been really good, but I don't think enough people talking about their lines, their trench play. The defensive line has been underrated, just for the simple fact no one's talking about it. But it's been pretty good this little playoff run. You already talked about their offense, their running ability, and I just think their trench play could maybe outdo Miami's on both sides of the ball.
Oh.
I do think it will come down to this. Carson Beck, can he put the ghosts away? Can he show up in a big game and be a big player? I think this game will come down to not having the miscues and the silly miscues that you talked about.
He's got one interception in his last 6 games.
It's true. It's going to either quarterback that wins this game is going to have to win the game for this team, for their team. I think these two teams are kind of evenly matched in a little bit. Maybe it comes down to the quarterback. Maybe it comes down to superior head coaching. We shall see. But I do like Ole Miss with that because of that hook. I think they keep it closer than that 3.5.
I'll say this: Eccles, the sophomore on the offensive line, I really like that kid, or the defensive line. Excuse me, not offensive, defensive tackle. Eccles, I really like him. The Harris kid, the senior, is like 6'8", 380 or whatever. He was gassed the whole second half. There were times he went down with a quote unquote injury timeout or whatever, and you just saw him sucking wind and getting helped up. I saw him trying to get help up from official. Guy's 6'8", 380. Ain't no official helping you up, bruh. I feel like on the offense, out of the 4 teams left, if you say offensive and defensive lines combined, if you grade them combined, I give Miami the edge over all 4 of these teams.
As you should have throughout the whole season. Miami's had a very good defensive line. Their offensive line not as ballyhooed. So I mean, it's fair to give Miami that type of respect. I just think how Ole Miss is playing really good ball, especially in that particular way. Not particular way, but in those trenches. So I don't want to disrespect them too much. I think they can play with Miami. That's what I'm saying.
I also hear the over under to me is a really good. Like, I think Vegas hit the nail on this one. 52.5. Like, if you made me pick it, I'd probably pick the under. Would I be surprised if it goes over? Absolutely not. I think this is one of those. You'd have to get to 46 or 56 before I started paying attention to it.
Yeah, I think the under. If I had to pick one, for the record, I'm pushing away from that. If I had to pick one, I like the under a little bit better than it going over.
All right, so we disagree on the first one. I think we disagree on, but this is the thing: when you get down to college football, right? You get down to the Final Four, it should be close like this. I think they got 4 very good, well-matched teams here. Good teams. Mm-hmm. You see the numbers here. Miami's getting 46% of the bet, 54% to Ole Miss. So the betting public agrees with you, Pay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to use that as the edge to put it on here, because to be honest with you, it's a small window of what we got going on here. So getting 6 and a pick 6 is going to be tough. So we might have to put it on, even though we disagree.
All right, let's go ahead.
Use the public as the tiebreaker.
All right, there we go. Peach Bowl.
Peach Bowl. Are you Airbnb-ing your place for this?
I should have. Oh, I could have made some good money.
All right, we got Oregon at Indiana. Same line here. What at Indiana? It's in Atlanta, but Indiana playing the home team here is favored by 3.5 points. Over under on this one is 48.5. Oof. What are your thoughts on this one? 75% of the betting public on Indiana right now.
I think there you go. I think we're going to roll with the public once again because I am taking the Hoosiers. I've been saying for the last close to 2 months that I think Indiana is the best team in the nation. Oregon, I've been saying for a while on this show that I think this isn't a traditional Oregon squad. They're not as high powered and high flying as you typically see the Angry Ducks. So I like Oregon, and there's a few reasons. I think Oregon is the more physical team. I think Oregon is the more connected team. I think they can.
You mean Indiana?
I'm sorry. Indiana. Indiana is the more physical team. They're the more connected team. You saw what they did to Alabama's defensive front, and their defensive front is usually stocked with future NFL players. They bullied them guys. I think the Hoosiers, led by Cincinnati, they're on a mission. I did not like Oregon's the tape they put out there when they played Tech. What was it? They played Texas Tech last, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they played them, I think the offense did as we thought they was going to do. They looking sputtered. They sputtered out there like an old Pinto. They only got 2 touchdowns in that game. They settled for a lot of field goals. They don't look as crisp in what they're doing as Indiana is.
They're more of a defense first team, which has been unusual for this Oregon team.
Exactly.
Dan Lanning's really got his defense where he wants it for sure. But where I struggle with Oregon, and I like Oregon in this game, and I'm going to root for them to win, to be honest with you. But and I'll get to why here in a second. But we have Oregon rushing attack. Only had 64 yards against Texas Tech. They don't have that running game that they're used to having, which I think opens things up. The running game's just so. So I think that's the big miscue here on this offense. As far as splash plays over 20 yards, they were number 1 or number 2 this year in CFB. That said, number 1 was Texas Tech in plays over 20 yards. And what happened last week? Big old goose egg, 200 yards of total offense. So when you get to these better defenses, I think you're seeing a lot of these teams that are feasting on bad competition, and it comes to light when they start playing better competition. So
that's definitely true. When the lights are brighter, who you really are is going to show up.
Can I talk you in here on Indiana money line instead of Indiana -3.5?
Oh yeah, you can definitely do that. If that's the way it's put, the baby, you got it.
I feel more confident about that.
It's going to be an ugly game. I think eventually this is going to be one of those heavyweight fights that goes the distance, and it's just a lot of hugging and fighting on the inside. And Indiana's just a bigger, tougher team. They're going to eventually win out. So, yeah, I would take the Indiana to win.
Listen, I know Indiana put up a lot of points in their last game against Alabama, but I expect this to look more like Indiana, Ohio State than I do Indiana, Alabama.
Agreed. I agree with you there.
I think it could. It was 30-20 in their first matchup, but if you watch that game, at the end of the third quarter, the under was coming home easy. So, most of those points were scored late on several splash plays by both teams. So, I'm going to root for Oregon to win. I could see Indiana here on the middle.
Okay. All right, there's our college football. You got anything else? Like any special props?
Nah, not in college. I've been flirting with some props. Here again, we allude back to what I said. I've been flirting with some certain props, but prop bets I tend to find like Friday night, Saturday morning is where I get into my props. A lot of times for the NFL, especially.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything you see over there you like?
Just scanning real fast. I see Mendoza plus, minus 121 for 2 tutties. You know what? I did see one that had Kenyon Sadiq for over 3.5 catches, but I think the numbers went down on that so far. So I'm gonna leave it alone. Yeah, so now they got it at plus 146 for 5 catches. So
what's it at for? About even?
Minus 150.
Wow. Ooh, that's a big swing for 1 catch.
I know.
Huh. So we got Devontae Adams coming back. Ooh. Prelude.
Let's go ahead and take that break so we can talk about that prelude, because it sounds like we got some juice on the NFL market, man. So go ahead, send us out there to the commercial. Tell the people what they should do while we get ready for the NFL talk.
If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, that first notification, rate and review us. If you got a quick second, share us, tell a friend about us. We appreciate you guys rocking with us each and every week, and we'll be right back after this message from our sponsors. Once again, we are back here on PayDirt. We made 20 minutes of chat about 2 games in college football. You know they're getting serious when we do that. Gotta love it when it's on the line, as they say. Uh-oh. I think we got a muted pay.
Speaking of it being on the line, it's game time. Week 19. Wild card weekend, B. So you were saying before we went to break, Devontae Adams is back.
He sure is.
He's back for just in time to not miss a chartered flight all the way to Carolina from SoCal to play the NFC South champs, the Carolina Panthers. Spread is 10.5, total 46.5. B, you take the honors. Why will Carolina cover this line?
I don't know if they will or not.
Whoa.
I think that the Rams are going to get back on track here as far as what they've been on offense. League leader in touchdown passes here. Matt Stafford, I think he's going to show off. Blake Corum rested now after spraining his ankle, so they got the 2-headed monster back. They've had it running back. But what I think here plays out, I think the Rams get ahead early on the Panthers. They got a little revenge here. It's a little bit of a revenge game for them. So I expect them to jump out to an early lead. With that said, they get out to an early lead, and Bryce is forced to throw the ball a little bit more. I think he goes to his binky, Ted McMillan, and his lines right now on his receiving yards are pretty nice. He's only at 5 catches, and he's only at 60 yards. I think he hits both of those.
You know what? I actually had that on my sheet for 60 yards for Tet. So, in the spirit of things, we usually don't put same game parlays on our official pick slip. But I want everybody that's watching, you want to push those chips in for Tet this week. I think he is definitely going to be the number one guy that Bryce is looking for. Which it's been weeks that he's not the guy that he's looking for because Bryce couldn't find him or whatever the reason may be.
See over the line.
That could be true as well. But I definitely think in this game, I think Carolina has a decent shot to control the flow of this game. Everyone knows there's about this offense. They are a running team. They are a rushing team first. Rico Dotto, Chuba Hubbard. They, for the most part, they control what that offense does. I think they have a good shot of being able to keep Matt Stafford on the sideline. And when they do got to pass, Ted, he can make any catch. So, yeah, I think 5 catches for Ted is really good. I think it's money in the bank at plus 111. That's good money. That's good money for that.
Well, let's just throw one on the board then. But I like him over 60 yards as well.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do that. I'll put that on the now to go with my theme where I was talking about the Carolina Panthers at 10.5. I think Carolina's got a better than decent shot of keeping it closer than 10.5. For one, Matt Stafford and that LA Rams offense, they really want to go over the top of you. That they want to score. They want to move the yards, score some points. Carolina is one of the better secondaries in the league, especially against defending the big play. I took the under. Yes, last week in the Carolina versus Tampa Bay game, because I know Baker and them boys do not have the patience to dink and dunk, nickel and dime their way down the field to beat the Carolina in that fashion. Can Matt Stafford and the LA Rams do the same thing? We shall find out. Because getting big plays against the Carolina Panthers is not something that any team has been successful doing. Horn and Michael Jackson, they don't play that. I think there's a good enough shot that, for one, LA Rams cannot move the ball as effectively as they would like to against Carolina's defense. And for two, Carolina can run the ball on LA. Now, the other thing, this total, 46.5. B, I'm going to pick your brain on this one. Because I do think that you said earlier, that's one of those numbers that you don't even start looking at it until it gets around that. How much points do you take off the board for a SoCal team having to fly cross country to the opposite coast to play football?
Well, I do it on a game-to-game basis. We've seen multiple times this year where that has not really played true. Example would be in November when these two teams played and scored a combined total of 59 points. So Rams put up 28, and that was with Matt Stafford not accepting the check down and throwing 2 picks. So I like that, what you're talking about there. I think you hit the nail on the head. What I really liked about this, what the Rams team had going against this Carolina Panthers, 20 rushes for 153 yards between Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. I think you're going to see more of that first, and that then, if they get ahead, will pull some of that safety help out of the down into the box. I think we're definitely not seeing this eye to eye right now.
Oh no, this is me getting really in the weeds with it. So I didn't expect us to see eye to eye on this one. I think the betting public prefers the Rams. I don't think anybody really believes in the Panthers, but B, I've been beating the drum. Shout out to the Panthers. Been beating their drum for a couple of years now. I've been saying the Panthers are better than what people think.
I'll say this: I'm not betting against them.
Hey, I mean, and you know what? That might be the bet. That might be the way we could come to an agreement. We don't agree on the line, but we do agree on Tet. So Tet stays on the slip.
For sure.
All right. So the next game they have here for the NFL, should we go all the way to the main event? Should we just do it?
That Saturday 8:00 game, the Green Bay Packers go to the Chicago Bears. Bears are home dogs by 1.5 points, over under 45.5 points. Hey, tell me what the weather is like there. What do we expected weather-wise?
Oh, so the weather has actually broke for for this week. That weather's actually going to be better than what you would typically see in Chicago. Today it was low 40s. Tomorrow's supposed to be in the 50s. But there's going to be a wintry mix coming in this week, towards the back end of this week. It's not expected to hit Chicago. It's probably going to stay further north of us. But for game day, it's expected the winds to be crazy. If you remember the first time these two teams met and you saw the goalposts moving, shaking around in the wind, that was 15 to 20 miles per hour. It's expected to be worse than that come Saturday night. They're talking maybe 25, 30 mile per hour winds on the lakefront. So that is something to keep in mind if you're going to bet this game.
It's a pretty windy city.
Hey, yo. I like what you did there. But this line has been moving a lot this week. 1.5 favor the Bears, 1.5 favor the Packers. It's pretty much a pick 'em. It's pretty much who do you think is going to win this game? And
the public going with the Bears here.
Yeah. I mean, you should. All intents and purposes, a rational thinker would actually pick the Bears. If you take the Packers roster as is and put them in a different jersey, pick a jersey, any jersey, Bengals jersey, Giants jersey, everyone will put their money on the Bears. And that's just where it is. The rational thinker sees how hurt the Packers are, how they've lost 4 games in a row. The Bears are at home. Bears have done some things. They are the more healthy team. They're actually supposed to get 2 more studs back this week for this game. Why would you not pick the Bears? But since you can't take the roster and put them in a different jersey, since it is the Packers and since it is the Bears, this game is definitely, obviously, going to be close. It's just how things are. It's my opinion, B. What do you think? How would you bet this game as far as spread-wise?
I look at what the Packers have looked like since the injuries, and then you start talking about the win. Josh Jacobs is not, if he is, which I assume he will be back in the lineup, he's still going to be banged up. I start looking at it as far as the top 10 players available from either team. I start building my top 10. I give the advantage there to the Bears. I give the advantage in the running game to the Bears. The Bears have shown sometimes they've went, we'll say, into hibernation in that first half as far as offensively. See how I did there, a little Bears reference. But I listen, there's too much excitement. It's a home game. I don't see that being an issue here. I think they'll come out firing on all cylinders, if you would. I like the Bears in this game, man.
Do you have anything for playoff experience favoring the Packers or the home field advantage favoring the Bears? Does any of that move the needle for you?
Not a ton. I mean, because Green Bay plays, Green Bay plays in Chicago a lot and plays in similar weather. Like, that doesn't really do much for me. And as far as playoff experience, most of the time you look at playoff experience, you're talking about quarterback, right? You're talking about quarterback, playoff experience. This kid has had a light shine brightly on him. Caleb Williams has been the center of attention for the past 5 years. He's not, as far as the scrutiny, the lights being too bright, things bothering him, I just don't think that can be a factor. Whether he plays great or he plays bad, I don't think it's going to be because of lack of playoff experience.
I think experience is a big thing when teams don't know each other. Obviously, playoff jitters and playoff moments can can be a deciding factor as well. But these two teams know each other. These two teams, this will be the third time in the last 6 weeks these teams have played each other. I don't think experience or lack thereof for the Bears is going to be a big thing. The Bears only have 15 players on their roster, have playoff experience, but Joe Tooney, he's pretty experienced. I think he's the Bears' best offensive player, and he's got all the experience in the world, a multiple-time Super Bowl champ. So I like that for the Bears. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. The total is 45.5. Like I said, the spread is 1.5, favoring the Packers. Which way are you leaning?
I like the Bears.
I like them too. Bear down. What about this total? You think so the last two times these two teams played, if the total was 45.5, it'd have been under both times. Any shot, it goes over this time.
It's a shot, but I lean under, but not as heavily as I lead the Bears to win.
I like the under too, but as you know, our rule, take it off the slip if it's a single game parlay. I'm going to leave it off because I don't want to take the 1.5 off. But I actually think the total is a stronger play. So we'll stick with the 1.5 for the Bears. We agree there. On the slip it goes. Let's move. Next game, we're going to Sunday, B. Buffalo, Jacksonville. The line is... line is 1.5, just like the last game. Total 51.5. A little bit more action expected in this game. B. I know we disagree here. I'm waiting for it.
Does this start off our Sunday slip?
It does.
All right. So here's what I like about this game. The Bills' defense has had its ups and downs. The Jaguars' defense, I think, all year has been pretty good. Good. Sometimes very good, depending on their turnover rate, right? I think Josh Allen is going to will his way against this team to score some touchdowns. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are too balanced. I think they'll turn him over late. I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Jacksonville's going to eke it out, but I don't think they can stop the Bills from scoring. I think this is going to be a 65 degree, 68 degree temperature. Nice day in Jacksonville. I like the over 51.5 here.
Actually, I'm seeing that it's going to be closer to 80 degrees.
Really?
High 70s. High 70s is what they're predicting for that game.
I saw high 70s on Saturday, not Sunday. I thought this was a Sunday game. My bad.
This is Sunday. So,
regardless, it's going to be nice.
Yeah. That may factor. That may play a factor. That may, because we've seen Buffalo before wilt in playing Miami in high temperature. Not to say that 75 to 80 degrees is hot. But, you know, if you're coming from Buffalo, your body may not adjust to that rapid weather change. But, you know, professional athletes, they're young men. They should be okay. I like Jacksonville to win this game. They're the home dog right now. I like them to win outright, B. There's no unequivocation from that. I don't think Buffalo is – I don't think they got it. I think Sean McDermott – I think this is his last game in Buffalo.
Ooh.
I think T. Law is going to take over. The way his last 6 weeks have been money. I think that defense is ready. I think that offense has been is a lot more steady than what Buffalo's got to offer. And a lot of people won't talk about this, but the trade of the season was Jacoby Myers going to Jacksonville. It completely changed that team. They are a real offense. Travis Etienne has had a bounce back season. Hey, don't sell the Jacksonville Jaguars short. They are for real. And I think that Josh Allen is going to be he's going to have to run a few times this game. I think they're going to be in his kitchen a lot.
Well, and we don't know how healthy Josh Allen is right now. Something's wrong with his foot. Whether he wants to lead on to it or not. That was evident against the Eagles.
That's true, and something is wrong because he screwed me in week 18. Maybe that's more my fault, but in any case, I like Jacksonville outright.
You like Jacksonville? I like the over.
I like the over too. I do. I will agree with you there. So let's go ahead and put that on the slip. Save some time. So
we're not disagreeing as much as you think. We're close. We're close to being alike. You like one a little bit more than I do. I like one a little bit more than you, but we really haven't disagreed too much since the college game.
No. We see something that we like in these games, and that's the good thing. One other game this one I'm have a little bit more trepidation on. San Francisco 49ers. Hey, this is a tough game. This is a tough game, and I think it all comes down to basic meat and potatoes type football. Niners, again, another California squad, got to fly all the way across the country to go play football. Niners at 4.5-point dog.
They did that well against Jacksonville, though.
Yeah, true. Niners 4.5-point dog against the defending Super Bowl champs. Total 44.5. First thing that jumps off the page to me, that total. I don't know. This total is kind of low. 44.5. Based on everything we've seen about the 49ers the last 7 weeks. What do you think?
I mean, can the Eagles score?
I don't think it's never so.
The Commanders had one of the worst teams in football. I know they played their backups. One of the worst defenses in football. They didn't score. The Bills, not a great defense. They scored 13. The Eagles have had some dog games. I don't know.
And that's exactly where I'm at with it too. I think
it's tough to call because they both Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They both have played really good and both played really poor at times.
That's definitely fair for the Eagles. They're not the same team that we saw last year on the road to a tremendous Super Bowl win. They're not that team. However, I think this is a perfect matchup for them to start becoming that team, to start getting on that snowball's edge. If it's one thing about the 49ers that you can do to beat them, it's run the ball. They got Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia. Now, he hasn't been 2,000 yards, Saquon Barkley. Yes, I got that. But if a team is easy enough to run the ball on, it's that team. The 49ers, they're not stopping anybody from running on them. If Philadelphia can control the clock with Saquon Barkley, if the offensive line can come together and have their best game of the week, a best game of the season, it'll be this week because, again, the 49ers do not have any type of rushing defense to save your life. If they control that clock, this will be a low-scoring game. And the Philadelphia Eagles will win.
I'm just not sure of what we're going to get out of these two teams. And listen, to say the general public doesn't, it's literally split 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing away from the table. I don't like it. I don't know. Am I going to see the 49ers that score 42 against the Bears? Am I going to see the 49ers that score 3 against the Seahawks? I don't like it.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That's the 49ers defense is terrible, but can the Eagles offense take advantage of it? We shall see. The only thing I like about this game, I do think, as I stated, I do think there's an avenue for Philadelphia to control the clock and definitely push the score down. Do you have any thoughts on the total?
I don't. I don't have this one on my sheet.
Okay. All right.
If you like something,
so,
throw it on there, but I don't.
Now, see, when we came into this game, I said this one's tough. So I was looking for you to sell me on something because I have my ideas, but 4.5 is a little bit.
It's
That's
hook.
it's a little tough for me.
If it's 3, I might like the Eagles here.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Jamie Robbins here. I don't know if he's an Eagles fan, but he's been chirping over here. He does. The Eagles can't score. I mean,
was that an Eagles pun? Was that a bird pun?
So he just says 49ers have the worst team and defensive team in the playoffs.
True.
I'd have to look that up. Steelers might be close.
Ooh, I don't think so. I think it's easily the Niners. But if you don't want no action with this, and I can't get you to convince me otherwise, we don't have to force it. Let's go to Sunday Night Football. Enough time. We got enough games to make some money. All right. Chargers at the New England Patriots, the third California team to fly across the country this weekend. Chargers are a 3.5-point dog. The total is 46.5. B, we got to agree here. Patriots winning this in a rout, right?
I think it'll be when you say rout, 2-score game. You know, I think it's a 10-point game. The Chargers, if at full strength, I think this is a great game. Unfortunately for the Chargers, I mean, that offensive line has just been riddled with injuries. I think the Patriots find a way to win this one by 10-13.
I'm definitely with you on that one. I don't think there's going to be any type of pushback from the Chargers in this game. The Patriots have heard it all season. They're not playing anybody. Well, the Chargers are somebody. Even though they're not their best version, they are still somebody. They're going to get on that plane and get smacked and go back home. And the Harbaugh brothers will be together on vacation. I just think it's that simple.
I wonder if they vacation together. That'd be nice.
Should be. I know John has already started making up those plans. So, all right. Any time scores for this game? Travion Henderson. I think that's a really interesting pick. I do like Travion Henderson as an anytime score, plus 135. That's some good juice. Not going to put it on the slip.
He can get that either rushing or receiving too.
I'm not going to put it on the slip, but it's just something for those watching. Might want to, check that one out there. So we came to a quick agreement on that one. So there's only one game left in the NFL wildcard weekend. You spoke them up. Pittsburgh Steelers, the AFC North champions, after the craziest fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes of a game that I've ever seen. So the Steelers are hosting the Houston Texans as a 3-point home dog. Total, this is embarrassing. 39.5. B, while that total is quite funny for a professional football game, I kind of like the under.
Again, probably lean under, but I'm not betting you know me. I'm not betting an under that low. I haven't done it since we got off of the Iowa Hawkeyes. I do understand why you would think about it, though. This is one of those games. So this is, as far as yards per game, the Texans are giving up the least amount in football, let alone in the playoffs. The Steelers giving up the second most yards per game in the teams left in the playoffs. First, actually not the 49ers. It's your Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah, the Bears have been terrible the last month, and as far as yards are concerned.
Yeah. So, and Carolina is right next to the San Francisco 49ers for most yards given up, just FYI. So, I like Texans here to cover. I love this at -3. I think if you put this on your slip, worst case scenario is it gets pushed off. I love that DK does that for me. I grew up for years and years and years of my younger days in my ute, with the bookies always just say, you tied, you lost. Huh? Thank you, DraftKings, for fixing that for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we talked earlier about those back alley shady deals. Yeah, those bookies can be a little bit of a pain at times. You think the Texans win by 3, huh? I think the Texans win a lot easier than that.
Oh, I said worst case scenario. I expect the
scenario.
Texans to win by 14, 13.
Whoa. I didn't go that far. I do think CJ Stroud has had a bounce back season, especially the last second half of the season. He's definitely. I don't even think you should compare the two quarterbacks because he's definitely obviously the better quarterback in this matchup. And a lot of people would look at the quarterback matchup before to help them determine who's going to win a game. CJ Stroud is playing about better ball. Their offense has been a lot better looking than the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has looked at any point in the season, save for playing the New York Jets, right? The defense, you don't even got to discuss the comparing of the two defense. Houston, Texas defense is elite. The Steelers defense, it has some question marks. With that said, I like the Texans to go ahead and win by 9 points. Because
I think Stingley can take DK Metcalf out here, and after that, they have nobody to throw into that scares them.
I did hear an interesting stat earlier on the NFC North Roundtable show. My co-host B. Foster from the Bleachers to Speakers podcast, he told me the Steelers haven't lost a Monday night game since 1991.
That's a wild stat.
That is a crazy stat. Did not hear it until now. So I am reconsidering a lot of things because another thing that's been Steelers in the Steelers history, they haven't won a playoff game since 2016, January of 2016, 10 years ago. And all of their games since then, all their playoff games since then, they've been getting their heads kicked together. Their heads kicked, ears stumped together. They haven't been close. I think this game is tailor-made for the two teams to stay close. And if the game is close, what's going to happen. Those Steelers are going to find a way to mess around and kind of win. So I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to say 9 points conservatively, but I expect Houston to cover the 3.
If they haven't lost a Monday night game in what is that 34 years? You know what that means, don't you?
What does it mean?
They're due to lose.
Ooh.
Run it. Lock it in.
Put it on the slip.
Where'd your slip go?
It's a little internet magic there. So let's go ahead and lock that in. -3, Houston Texans. All right. Any props?
No, not negative. My biggest prop game was that Rams game for sure. Again, maybe next year, maybe we'll see some props later in the week. But what do you got? You got anything here you like?
I don't think this is going to be a major game for offense. So I'm going to push away from the props on this. I might live bet some props, obviously, but
Woody Marks, anytime touchdown. I like that. I would lean that way.
Let's talk about the receiving props for Kenneth Gainwell, because he's really the leading receiver for Pittsburgh.
For sure.
So Kenneth Gainwell, they got him at 40 yards. They said he averages just under 30 catches. 4. They got plus 109 for 6 catches for Kenneth Gainwell. They're on to it.
They're on to it.
Yeah, they're on to it. I'm gonna push away from it. Yeah, let me leave it alone. Get out of here. All right, B. Let's talk about our parlay slip. So we got 7.
So we only need 1 to come off.
Yeah. So let's do a quick rundown real fast. We've got Ole Miss plus 3.5. Indiana money line. Tet McMillan, the wide receiver for Carolina Panthers, plus over 5 catches. Well, 5 catches, is on the line. Bears plus 1.5. Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars over 51.5. Patriots minus 3.5, and the Texans minus 3. I can tell you right now which one I think is the riskier play. Well, but what do you think? I'm going right here. My hometown, my Chicago Bears. 1.5 underdog. That is, to me, the riskiest of everything we've talked about. I think Indiana winning, a lock. I think Tet catching 5 passes, a lock. I think over 51.5, not as much of a lock, but I think that's a lot more closer. The last 2 games, Patriots minus 3.5, Texans minus 3. I think those are locks. So between the Bears, the over 51.5, and Ole Miss covering the 3.5, that's where you get a little shaky.
So to me, it's between Ole Miss and I'll agree with you on Chicago.
All right. So let's figure this out. How do we go ahead and decide which one got to come off?
Well, I'd say emotional hedge for you.
Okay, you're right. Emotional. That's how we usually do it. So
love an emotional hedge.
I mean, it's still good odds. Our 6-pick parlay has odds at 4,047. That is real good.
Yeah, I normally bet these. I've been betting half unit on the entire parlay, and then I bet full unit on the slip, and do that blindly in, and then bet the games I like on top of it. So if I really like 2 of these heavily, more than 1 unit bets, I'll add a couple units here and there.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good way to look at it. So, all right. So for those again, and recap, our 6-pick parlay is Ole Miss plus 3.5, Indiana on the money line, 5 catches for Tet McMillan, over 51.5, Buffalo at Jacksonville, and the New England Patriots and the Houston Texans both to cover their spread, 3.5 and 3 respectively. B, this was a great show.
I love it. I'm a big fan of this one. I think we're gonna go out hot.
I like it.
Good way to end the season. It's not how you start the season, it's how you end the season.
Ooh, because where are we at right now? We are at 55%.
55%.
All right.
We push this up over 58.
We already hit 1 parlay. Let's make it 2. Kick off the playoffs right.
I like it. You got anything you want? Any last statements here you want for the people, or anybody want to check you out on some other shows? What you got? Well,
everybody's watching Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan. You already know what it is. It's we're living by 3 words this week: beat Green Bay.
I like it. Good luck to you. Anybody out there interested? The Pistons are up by 5 over the Bulls. In other news,
yeah,
big fan of
the
Pistons.
Yeah. Well, the Pistons are pretty good, so check those guys out. What's anything you got to get off your shoulders before you got to get out of here?
Woo! We got PayDirt coming up here in about 25 minutes or so. I believe it's
jungle.
Run it through the jungle. Yes, run it through the jungle after PayDirt. Here in about 25 minutes. So if you are interested in listening to me and Mr. Justin Lacey bitch about the Cincinnati Bengals front office, come on over. The water's warm because there's going to be plenty upset, I'm sure. And we're going to cover some of Justin's thoughts here as well on these matchups. We like to do the matchups as well for the playoffs. So we'll be talking about that. Other than that, hit that like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend.
That's right. If you don't do anything else today, make sure you do that. Let's kick off 2026 right. Share with a friend. Tell them to come on back.
Sharing is caring. But it's not the end of the playoffs. We said it's the favorite week, but there's more coming next week, and we'll be right back here. Join us again next Wednesday, 6:35, as we reach PayDirt.